It's our pleasure to have you all at this event in the evening with Shivol. Shivol is India's first personalized mentoring platform for women with over 2,000 plus members, focusing on elevating diversity and women leaders with a simple objective of lift as we rise. Shivol supports every working woman to achieve her goals with one-on-one mentoring, personalized courses, capability trackers, mental health experts, and accountability coaches to provide a holistic program for every working woman to evolve. Today, we are celebrating the International Men's Day. International Men's Day is celebrated to recognize and celebrate the cultural, political, and social economic achievements of men. The 6 pillars of the International Men's Day is an occasion to celebrate boys and men's achievements and their contributions to nation, union, society, community, family, marriage, and childcare. We at Shivol are extremely delighted to celebrate International Men's Day with this Men as Allies and Equality in Bringing Equality Together theme. In my corporate experience of 20 plus years and the last few months as an entrepreneur, I have been mentored, coached, by a lot of men, both in my workplace and in the last 6 months, by not just in good times, but also times where they have stood behind me and lifted my spirits and sponsored me. I remember and I thank those men as allies very, very keenly now. We want to celebrate our men allies with the same spirit and pomp and fervor as we have been celebrated.
Starting with this, I think I'm very privileged to actually share the stage with a very inspiring women entrepreneur herself, and who's also been a mentor for so many other businesses and for so many other women. Welcome, Ms. Lata Pandirajan. It's great to have you here. Before we start with your session, a small introduction about you. So Ms. Lata Pandirajan started her career as a qualified auditor with Deloitte. She's the co-founder of Mafoy, which is the largest HR service provider in the country. They have recruited more than 4 lakh professionals in a short span of 20 years. She's also the governing council member of Stella Maris and is also part of Mafoy Foundation, which works in various projects like education, sports, healthcare, women empowerment, and environment. It's great to have you on board today to share your insights on men as allies. So I would like to start by asking you the first question of how do you think women can create a voice for themselves in a male-dominated environment, given your journey as a founder or co-founder of Mafoy? What do you believe that they can do to create a voice for themselves? Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Vandana. And first, let me congratulate all of you for this wonderful initiative. I think a much needed initiative in that sense. And yeah, I heard Baduri speak about it, Deepa speak about it, and of course, Vimla about FWC. Of course, I know Ashok Kumar very well. I know the family very well. I know the kind of work that's happening for many years now. And I know the kind of support they give for women empowerment as such. So I'm happy to really be here this evening to really, share my views, my thoughts on this. And of course, as everybody started off, I think I'm happy to be here on the International Men's Day. And because I mean, of course, as everyone says, I think it is so important that we work together, men and women, that way. And so here's to all the men in everybody's lives. I think like a happy International Day for each one of you. And so I think, yes, Vandana, about my journey as such, if you really see, as you rightly said, I'm a chartered accountant, studied in various places, Chennai and Calcutta and Nagpur, because my father was in the railways. So, it took me to a lot of cities. And after that, of course, I was working for Deloitte. And then, of course, in the year 1992, we started MAFA. When I say we, me and my husband together. My husband is a personal professional, and I, being a chartered accountant, we thought let's do something different. And in fact, in 92, Even the word HR was not there, honestly. Okay, it was more personal management in that sense. So I think we wanted to be in a very unique space, a space which valued human resources that way. So yeah, it was a very evolving field at that time. Like, and I'm so happy with this. Even the word "she-evolve" that way, because like evolution is honestly a very interesting part of a human being that way. And so it's a wonderful name you all have chosen, Shivolve, as such. And yeah, so that was the time we decided to start Mafua in '92. And we always had a dream of building a global company. Mafua, the name itself, of course, it's a French word, which means my word, actually, like almost like saying, I give my word to you. For us, it symbolized trust. And so I think like that's what, like, I mean, right from day one, we wanted something very unique in that sense. So I think that's how like we started off with this, even the name as such. And yeah, I think like we were the pioneers. So many a times when you are a pioneer, like there's no precedence. So, you need to really, set your own path. And that's what happens with women also, I think. Many a times, like I really see, the last 3 decades of my professional experience. Okay, every woman is unique that way. The kind of, your upbringing, and your surroundings, your environment, your ambience, everything is so unique. So there is nothing like, one thing fits all kind of a thing. So it's very important that we need to really understand what is this uniqueness of us. And yeah, so I think in our journey, I think as the topic says, men as allies, I think it is so important that, I've worked, both me and my husband have worked together. Many people have asked me specifically, like, how is it possible to really, live and work together? Because it's not easy that way. And 24/7 and 365 days, so being together and working together kind of a thing. And I mean, I would be lying if I say like, everything is smooth and easy. It is not. It is challenging, quite challenging. But I think like what makes it very interesting or meaningful is the way we approach that way. I think it is important for women. You talked about the voice being heard. Okay, I think it is very important. Even today, I can say that in a boardroom of 10 people, when I started off, there used to be only one woman. Okay, now probably there are 2 women or 3 max that way. Okay, so I think, so when it is like that, it is important that we are heard. Okay, so I always tell even the women in my office, it is important that you first, understand that you have a voice and raise your voice. It is, I mean, otherwise it just doesn't happen. Okay, in a, in a room where there are 10 people, and if you're just the one person, I mean, it's just not enough to just nod your head and sit. It is important that you're heard that way. Okay, so I think it is important for us to be heard. And yeah, when it comes to working together, okay, whether in professional life or in a personal life that way, I think what helps in being heard and in moving forward is, in my view, setting boundaries very clearly and understanding the boundaries that way. Okay, so I think even in MAFA, I think, yeah, of course, I used to handle almost all the corporate affairs, and Pandirajan used to handle more the business development, the marketing kind of a thing. But right from day one, we were very clear that we lay our boundaries very clearly that way. And I used to very jokingly say that, yeah, like I mean, I'm happy to work together and start this company and work together, provided after a couple of years, people don't call me MD's wife. Okay, people call me as Lata for my own self that way. Okay, so I was very clear. I was saying, like, if that happens, then I would leave. Like, I'll find some other things to do. So yeah, so I mean, I'm just saying this because it's so important that I think as a woman, it is important that we really define what is it, what would be our boundaries, and see to it that, I mean, there's nothing to say that, you have to really stand against each other and things like that. Even to walk together, it is important to understand that you don't really encroach on each other's space that way. And if someone else encroaches, you really understand, like, that something is happening, so that is very, very important as such, even in personal life. I think that's what will help us to really move forward and be happy moving forward as such. So yeah, I think like that's how this voice being heard and moving forward as such is very important, I think, for a woman as such. And yeah, and I would like to say that in the last 3 decades, of course, I've seen many things have changed that way. And but still, I think there are certain things that have not changed. Okay, we come from a culture where, still there are certain things. I say, I have really, as Vandana said, I have worked a lot with a lot of rural girls, rural women as such. And in the last 30 years, I've seen a lot of changes, definitely. Okay, when it comes to women empowerment, I think the first step to women empowerment is education. Okay, and in the last 2 decades, I've really seen, even in rural villages today, I think girls are educated that way. That's a good thing. There was a time whenever I used to travel to rural parts of Tamil Nadu, every girl would have studied 10th at least. Then came a time, everyone will say, like, yeah, 12th standard, my daughter has finished her schooling, 12th. And now I travel to all the villages, and everybody's by and large a graduate that way. Okay, so most of the girls. So I think that's a great movement towards empowerment, in my view, that way. Second step, in my view, is, of course, financial independence. Okay, so if you ask me whether we are there, I would say no. Okay, but I think we are inching towards it. I can see more and more. I'm sure, like, some of you must be from IT companies and all that. You can see so many girls now working that way. Okay, so I think that's the next step, in my view. Okay, but of course we have a long way to go in that way. And yeah, maybe, like, as I keep talking about it moving forward, maybe I'll answer some of the other questions, Vandana.
Awesome. That's beautiful to hear and very inspirational. And like you said, it's very important for women to create their own identity, because we come in as a daughter and then we go as someone's wife and then we become someone's mother. So it's important for us to create that identity. And I think making sure we are heard, like you said, and setting boundaries is, ensures that we are able to create our identity without hurting anybody in the process as well. Because like you said, we are in that culture, we are slowly adapting to where women get empowered and, are getting into entrepreneurship. So talking about this, my next question would be, how open are women when it comes to asking for help? Which is that it's an issue that we find in a lot of places, where we push and we say, please find mentors, find out what are your strengths and weaknesses. But do you think women are still open when it comes to asking for help from others?
If you ask me straight away, I think it's not very easy for a woman to ask for help. Okay, I think, like, that's also because of the cultural baggages we really are really with, in that sense. Okay, honestly, as I said, I've worked with a lot of rural women, and I've seen many a times there are rural women who actually voice out much better than even, people who are in the urban areas that way. And yeah, they may not be heard and all that, but I've seen they have a louder voice, many a times. So yeah, but I think, like, it's becoming better, as I said. Like, I think education is really playing a difference in that sense today. I think, like, women are educated, and at least, they want to, at least, they've gone to the next step of, I've seen, like, a lot of girls saying that, at least for 2 years I want to work and then get married. Okay, so I think, like, many of these girls, at least they want to taste that thing of earning money. Okay, so I always feel, once you educate a girl child, okay, one step you've really, crossed. Because at least one, I think education gives confidence to a girl that way. Okay, I think it gives the sense that, anytime, I will be able to face the challenges in life, kind of a thing. And the second step of, some job somewhere, some understanding, that is gives much more confidence. I think that fear goes away and things like that. So I always tell even the girls, whom I mean, as I said, like, we train a lot of rural girls and all that. I just say, like, just take up a job. Even after a year, you just leave it. It's okay. But that confidence you will gain as such. Okay. But I think asking for help, as I said, like, it's not really, culturally ingrained in us that way. It's always like, so for so many years, we've been always behind at the back. Okay. But now to really, walk shoulder to shoulder with men, I think like, I think it'll need some more time in terms of, like, as I said, financial independence, figuring out exactly, what our role is and things like that. So, but it's been better, I must say, in the last 2 decades or so. I think like people have at least understood and appreciated what is it they want that way. Okay, some of the women, and though some of the women have, got it. Some of the women, I think, like, still struggle with it, in my view.
Yes, that is very true. So, talking about struggles and asking and being heard, what according to you is inclusivity? Because we have inclusivity happening across organizations, across entrepreneurs. According to you, what do you think is inclusivity?
Yeah, I think like nice. It's a nice word, inclusivity or empowerment, inclusivity, and all these. And here I would really like to talk about these two words, equality and equity. Okay, so I think many a times we interchangeably use it that way. Though in my view, I think equity is more powerful a word than equality that way. Okay, so equality, as we all know, is treating everybody equally, men, women, whatever it is. But in my view, equity actually makes us understand the differences and see what exactly needs to be done that way. Like, even in a school, as a child as such, not all children are the same. Okay, each one comes with different backgrounds, upbringings, IQs, and all that. So like, if we want every child to succeed, we need to be equitable that way. Okay, same way, like, it's so important at the workplace, I really feel. If we need to succeed and we need to be inclusive as an organization, okay, we need to understand what is equity. Because as I said, I think everybody is unique. I think the men are made uniquely, women are made uniquely. Okay, and as we all know, I think like it is important that yeah, as you start working, then you have your marriage, and then you have your childbirth, and so all these are very important part of our lives, okay, which we need to enjoy in that sense. Okay, so this understanding, this appreciation, like they say, this empathy that way, I think is very, very critical for any leader in an organization that way. Okay, see, once we understand empathy, then we know what kind of policies that need to be made. Okay, so in my view, that is real inclusivity that way. Okay, it's not like just saying that everything is equal, everybody gets equal opportunity, equal pay. Okay, it's not enough to just say that and stop at that way. Okay, so it is very important for us to be sensitive to the needs of different people that way. I think organizations which have done well, which have been extremely successful, which have quickly grown, are organizations which have been very sensitive to everybody's needs that way. Okay, I think there will be some women who can work 10 hours a day, there will be some who cannot work, they will need flexibility. Children after childbirth, like some people maybe will have a support system, some women will not have a support system. Okay, but yeah, I think it is very critical for an organization to really understand each person and accordingly deal with it, and then then see as to how do we take each person. Because I think if we are able to get that right, because each person will bring unique potential also that way, and if we can get that right, I think the organization would have got it right in terms of its growth also. So in my view, inclusivity is so much related to equity, dealing things in a very equitable pace in an organization.
Very true. And I think that, building equity for ourselves and being empathetic towards the situation actually helps in increasing the women leaders that we see, because with equity comes a lot of self confidence, a lot of self worth that actually helps, have more women leaders. So when I'm talking about, like you said, equality and equity are two different things, and when we talk about equity and leadership, we see a lot of women leaders are out there, but when it comes to talking about their experiences, talking about being role models, it's very less. And as such, women leaders we see are also very less comparatively. If you see in technology, only 3% to 4% are women leaders, senior women leaders are out there. Do you think having lesser men advocates has become is one of the reasons that we have fewer women leaders, or is it something that women need to work amongst themselves itself?
Yeah, I think it's both ways, in my view. Okay, I think recently I was seeing a McKinsey report which said, if women participate identically to men, $28 trillion will get added to the annual GDP that way. Okay, so I think, there's so many studies, research reports, talking about how if you value, even in India, I've seen, like if you value the kind of work women do at home and add it to GDP, that way, I think India's GDP will be somewhere in that sense. Okay, so I think it is very important in that sense. But yeah, I think yeah, people, I think to a certain level, what happens is, that is why I mentioned about equity. Okay, in an organization, most organizations, I think, fail to see the kind of challenges that way. Okay, and few organizations these days have really helped women to really move to the top, and but still, as I said, even today in a boardroom you may see maybe 2 to 3 people that way. Okay, that's because I think, again, I've traveled to many countries, Europe and US and all that. I think the kind of support systems that are required, I think we are still a far way to go, a long way to go that way. Okay, and even today, I really feel, even in our country, women who have really done well, I think, yeah, they may be having a supportive spouse and supportive thing, but I think you need to get your support systems right. It's just not your spouse. You need to get your driver right, your maid right. Many of these things, you need to get it right in our country. Okay, only then it's possible that way. Okay, because I don't think so even now, you have probably a crash in almost every area where you can just go drop the child and go. It doesn't happen. Okay, even in many organizations we don't have that way. Okay, so when all this is there, I think, and yeah, all of us also want to be super women. Many a times I think we always die out of guilt that I'm not a good mother, I'm not a good daughter, I'm not a good daughter-in-law, kind of a thing that way. So those are also, again, cultural baggages women are carrying that way. And so because of all this, I really feel many a times, I think, yeah, you rightly mentioned about IT organizations where you will see like a swarm of girls, entry level and things like that. And then slowly, 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 15 years down the line, numbers, slowly dwindle that way. Okay, and because I think women also saddled with many responsibilities, and men also, I think it is very important that, I mean, that's why I really feel good that you've taken a very good topic, the men as allies. Okay, the word ally itself means, I think, like it's like a friend, a foe, a friend, being together as such. Okay, so when you say a friend, then the person really understands exactly what is required, and together we are able to travel. Okay, I would say still, I think, not everywhere we have women, I mean, men who have, I mean, empathy to that extent. Okay, I think this generation is much better. That way, they understand that they are allowing women to work, but it will take, I feel, in my view, this is my personal view, a few more years. Okay, when people really start sharing responsibilities equally, in that sense, without which I don't think so we'll be able to have more women maybe like, coming up the ladder easily as such. Though today I see a lot of women entrepreneurs, because I think entrepreneurship in one way gives flexibility that way. Okay. So I think that even like my personal example in that way, like, I became an entrepreneur when I was 27. And I mean, like, though actually, the truth is, as an entrepreneur, even those years, I used to work at least, 14, 15 hours a day. Mentally, there was flexibility. Mentally, I used to feel, okay, I can go home whenever I want. If there is something very important, I can take off, whatever it is. Okay, though I may not take off, but still, it gives a certain mental flexibility, which is very, very important that way. Okay, so that I see a lot of girls today, a lot of women, even in rural areas, very easily getting on to entrepreneurship. And as women, I think like we are groomed quite well to handle, to be an entrepreneur. It is there in us that way. Okay, so I think is, and I also feel entrepreneurship is also a great thing, because it gives a woman a chance to also come back if there is a break that way. Okay, so many women, okay, like maybe for the childbirth or whatever it is, and you take a break. And many girls, I really feel, will feel bad. Okay, my colleague, he's moved forward. I'm really, I've stayed back. I'm not being able to, kind of a thing. I always say it doesn't matter. Okay, one, I think it is important that we should not compare ourselves. As I said, I think we are unique beings that way. Okay, never ever compare yourself with any other being that way. Okay, because everybody's ambience is different that way. And two, I feel like even if you want to come back, there's so many other things to do today. I think there's so many opportunities in that sense. I've been part of a jury of the Homepruners Award. We do it for the last 4 years. And I can tell you, Vandana, in the last 4 years, the number of entries have increased drastically that way. And it's so nice to see so many women, even in very rural areas today, using net and doing business. Okay. And so that's a great satisfaction, I get to see them, like that, in that sense. So yeah, I think that's what I see as of now.
Very true. I think, like you said, the support system is very important. And if you don't have the support system, understanding, upskilling ourselves, like, how rural women have actually learned how to use the internet for their business, and putting out that guilt, the guilt of not being there with the family, not being there for the children. All of this, needs to come out and slowly start increasing our self worth. And, our self confidence would really help us emerge as leaders, like you say. And one more thing, so talking about this and talking about support systems and bringing out the guilt, and these are all like inbuilt baggages that we have inside our mind. What do you think that men needs, if you have like three asks of a man, how do you think they need to contribute in a women's professional and a personal growth?
Yeah, as I said, I think one important thing is empathy. I think for a man, I think it is important for a person to understand first, when you to put themselves into our shoes and really, really understand, kind of a thing. And two is, of course, keep encouraging, because everybody needs appreciation and encouragement. Okay, many a times I think like, that small little thing, that encouragement and appreciation will go a long way for a woman, any woman, for me, in my view, that way. And of course, like, I think like walking together, whatever it is as such, the very idea of just saying that I'm there, that confidence which, woman gets when, your partner or anybody, a colleague who's there in the system, especially a male, and who's able to, be there together with you as a friend to walk your meaningful journey. I think that itself gives a lot of confidence for women as such.
Wonderful. I think that one is, being empathetic, that is making them listen to us, would really help in a lot of ways for a professional growth, because they can listen to our ideas, our, challenges, our guilt. One of the things emotionally is really helpful, and being empathetic is important. And at the same time, building that self confidence, because women, we look for validation. We look for validation and acceptance from the family. And when that acceptance comes out as encouragement, as appreciation, that really helps to boost our ego. It helps to boost the way that we look at ourselves, and helps when it comes to entrepreneurship, or when it comes to women coming back to work, after a 3-4 year break, after children looking for a job, or just be it school students, college students in the final year, where they also have their own challenges of whether they need to go and pursue higher studies, go to work, or are they going to get married. These are the questions we still have, unfortunately, a lot of girls asking themselves if it's required to go the another step. I think these questions can be answered with the takeaways that you had given us. And with that, I have my last question for you. Do you think that in a world, how different do you think the world will look for women when we have more men allies in place? Do you think that it will slowly start becoming a phrase where we say, behind a successful woman, we would also have men behind our back? So, do you
Yeah.
think that would work? How different do you see the world going
Yeah,
with
yeah,
more men
definitely.
allies?
It will be a different world, and definitely it will be a world which will be very more meaningful in that way. And I always say purpose and passion. If we can marry these two things together that way, I think that's the best life one can lead. Like I'm sure some of you would have read the book Ikigai. Okay, where like there's a village in Japan where people live for such a long time, and there's a research that was done, and people found that it is just that thing of helping each other, being together, and walking together is what has really given them that long life, as such, sharing as such. So because like many a times, more than receiving, when you give, you are more to experience joy that way. Okay. So I think like so it's very clear in that sense. I think definitely, I think the world will be a better world if people, or why men and women, both of us. I think it's important to really understand, be empathetic, and so not even behind. So I would always say, like more than behind, it's important that we are able to walk shoulder to shoulder. So rather than even like behind a man is a successful, behind every man's success there is a woman behind. So I would really like to paraphrase that differently and say, like, it's important that we walk side by side and be successful that way. So yeah, that's what I would like to say.
Wonderful, ma'am. Thank you so much for a wonderful keynote session with us today. And I think you've laid the foundation of how men can be allies in the workforce, in a women driven workforce, especially with your experiences, with your very important giveaways of empathy, of confidence, of appreciation and validation. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for being with
Thank
us
you.
today.
Thank
Looking
you,
forward.
Vandana. Thank you, Deepa.